Welcome to the United Nations of Hip Hop. On today's panel, we will be discussing the run-up to the First Vietnam War, waged between the French and the Viet Minh. Viet Minh, you have the floor first.
We had a history and pride, our people were unified. The country was beautiful till the Frenchmen arrived.
Y'all were non-Catholic barbarians when we came. Us French taught you monkeys to use your brain.
See, now that's the arrogance and attitude of a heathen. You probably went in shock the moment you start bleeding. These wars not new to my country and region. We fought the Chinese for over 1,000 seasons. Trunk sisters to the NLF. In the end, being fool, we wasn't afraid of death.
No, you are going much too far ahead. We are not yet at the Battle of the Indian Fool. We are still speaking of the relations between the French and the Vietnamese people leading up to the First Vietnam War. Friends, would you like to respond?
They talk about beauty and peace, let's go inside it. We got there in 1860, it was divided. Cause after that war with China, they turned around and waged war on their own people in the South. Fragmented, wasn't no unity there. We took the whole country over in just 25 years. And they were better off, we gave them an education. Them people ungrateful with no appreciation.
This is our country, and for it will die. Like on February 6, 1930, getting by.
A pitiful rebellion, we stomped it in 2 days.
But 1931 and then
the same thing.
We were unarmed, y'all shot into the crowd, and then imprisoned thousands and never let them out. That's why we all cheered when Germany defeated you, and 3 days later when the Japanese succeeded you.
Vietnam, you speak of the Japanese. Is there anyone present who can speak for the Japanese to clarify why the Japanese were there in that time?
Well, as far as the Far Eastern locations, we valued their roads and air bases, rubber and coal, railways and stations. You see, we believed in Asia for the Asians.
That's propaganda, he's lying in the hot seat. Everybody know the Japanese was Asian Nazis.
United States, you must wait your turn. You were not yet formally invited into the discussion, United States. Remember to wait your turn. Japan, you still have the floor.
It's quite alright, our friend is a hypocrite. He speaks of freedom but yet doesn't live in it. We signed a deal with the French for the land, and they were very grateful they weren't dead men. Every other allied army we made bleed, but they gave us what we wanted so we let them breathe. Vietnam was the son and we were the father. But what about the famine and when you tried to starve us?
That's why we firebombed them, Japan was a problem.
That's why we hit you first and bombed Pearl Harbor.
Please, 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 stick to the discussion at hand. Vietnam, you mentioned the famine that had taken place. Please elaborate.
Between the Japanese and the French grew division. They didn't trust the French and threw them all in prison. They were losing the war, the Allies winning, and that's when they gave us that fake independence. 1945, it was starvation, cause all of our food was going to their nations. 2 million out of 8 million of us died. We had independence but had no rights till Ho Chi Minh organized.
Oh please, Ho Chi Minh was a murderer and thief. Killed his own people for little to no reason. A too-big communist con man and heathen.
United States,
Why?
I will not warn you again, United States. You will not interrupt anyone on this panel again. Do you understand me?
I'm just saying.
Do you understand me, United States?
Yeah.
Vietnam,
lying,
you were speaking about Ho Chi Minh. Please continue. Tell us the history of Ho Chi Minh and who this man is.
Well, Ho Chi Minh was born Nugent Tat Tan, the son of an official and respectable man. When he turned 21, he moved to London and France, got radical and assumed a communist stance. Went to China, Soviet Union the whole time, with Vietnamese people on his heart and mind. Came back and he founded the Viet Minh.
A bunch of insane murderers, killers, and con men. Terrorists, that's why we bomb them. You wanna kill Viet Minh and I'm in.
Well, that's kinda strange, cause you the one that trained us. Took us to the mountains, set up shooting ranges.
But that's another subject, it was for a different reason. I was training you so you could kill the Japanese. Matter of fact, I only trained 200, and in the showtime you multiplied in abundance.
United States, that is it. You are out of the discussion. As a matter of fact, the discussion is over. We shall reconvene to talk about the Battle of Dien Bien Phu tomorrow. This discussion is over. This is too wild. United States, you have destroyed the discussion. Hopefully you have not destroyed the credibility of the United Nations of Hip Hop and our discussion on the Vietnam Wars. Tomorrow we shall reconvene to discuss Dien Bien Phu. Thank all of the countries for coming and participating. Thank you.